Hello, this is the video for the Chapter 10 Tech Project Part 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick run through on this one, skipping some steps and showing you the StatCrunch part. So let's see, Part A, load the data from exercise 36 from exercise section 10.3 into StatCrunch. So I'm going to go find that in the Meaningful Statistics group, and so there it is right here. So I click on that and it will load up. So we've got the data set in there, so that part's taken care of, and it's got our column headings and our row headings already in there for us, which is nice. So let's go ahead and see what's next on that. And I'm just going to close one of these other windows so I don't get mixed up. Alright, so the next part of the directions would be to write down the null and alternative hypotheses and the significance level for the test. So this is a kind of standard homework problem in section 10.3, so good practice for you to do that as you're getting ready for the final. So I'm just going to leave that for you to do right here. Just make sure that you're reading the problem and looking at examples in your notes or in the book, but you cannot do this step without reading the problem from the book, so make sure you're opening that up and having a look. Alright, so assuming you've got that step done, let's see what's next. Calculate the test statistic and the p-value by doing these steps. We're going to do stat, tables, contingency, and then with summary. And that's because we don't have individual answers from people, but a table that has summarized those answers. And then for select columns, we're going to select all the columns that have data in them, so only the ones with numbers. And for row labels, we're going to choose the column that has the party names in it. And then the stuff we want to display will be expected counts and contributions to the chi-square, and then click calculate. So let's go try that, checking back in with those directions if we need to. So let's see, I think I need to already. Let's just see the starting path. Stat, tables, contingency with summary. So stat, tables, contingency, and with summary, again because we have table results. So it said for select columns to choose the ones that have data. So this is not data, these are labels. So our data are these numerical values here, so the columns that have that are yes, no, and don't know. So I'm going to click on yes. If I click on no, it'll just switch. So click on yes, and then you have to hold down the control key and then click on the other ones so you get all three. And notice that it's telling me to hold those down. If you're on a Mac, then that would be the command key. So yes, no, and don't know are the ones I want. The row labels are Republican, Democrat, and Independent, and they're in a column called Party. So I'm going to select Party. And we don't need column labels. That should do that automatically. And then none of that group by, it's just the display stuff. So if I wasn't looking, I would guess that we'd want to see the things we do when we do these by hand, and we write our expected counts. These are observed frequencies, so we're asking for expected frequencies. And then if we click control, it'll just switch, right? So the same thing, click expected, and then hold control when you click the next one to add that on. And when we do contributions to chi-square, that is the official way to refer to what I call the mini z-scores in the book. So those are the two things we need. I'm just going to go double check that we have everything. We're doing a chi-square test of independence. It's already selected down here, and that is the type of test we're doing in 10.3. So you could click that and make it blue, but it was already selected anyways. Alright, let's just double check that we got it all. So we're in this part, we did all of that. We selected the columns that we needed that had data. We selected the row labels, and for display we did expected counts and contributions. So we're good. This says click calculate on this newer version of StatCrunch. That's always compute. So I'll go ahead and click that and we'll get our results right here. Now that we have those results, we just want to get them over to our report. So it asks us to use Alt Print Screen to do that, and again, that's one way you could do it, but if you do that, you will get the whole window, not just this part, so Snipping Tool is probably better. So we're going to do that, and then circle and label steps 3 and 4, and like in all hypothesis tests, step 3 is your test statistic, and step 4 is the p-value, so there's step 4. So our test statistic on a test of independence is a chi-squared value. So here's the chi-squared value, right? Chi-squared value, so that 123 is our test statistic. So let me grab the snipping tool. Has our old graph from a moment ago from the previous video. So let me click new, move this out of the way a little, capture this new stuff, and circle our test statistic, which is this chi-squared value right here. And that's step 3, so I'll label that with 3. And I don't know, not a big deal, but easy to do, so I'll switch to a red pen just to distinguish those two. If you're like me, you just have a black and white printer anyways, so it doesn't matter, but I'll go ahead and do it. So there's our step 3 and our step 4, and then I can do edit copy. I can go minimize this, go back to my report, and that was part D and E that told me to capture that and circle. So I'll do that, and don't like the label on one page and the graph on another, so I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to press enter a few times and move that down to page 2 so that all that is together. And then check the directions one more time. What's left is to write steps 5 and 6 on your printout, and it's in Word, so there's no reason to feel like we have to hand write that, so we could just go in here and label part F and do those 2 steps. I'm going to leave that to you though, because it's fairly straightforward, just like it is in homework, but here you see how to do the StatCrunch portion, so I'm going to leave the rest to you. Good luck with that.